Hello and welcome to the View from Sibos 2020. For the first time ever, the conference is being held virtually this year. I'm Joy McKnight, Managing Editor of The Banker, and I'm joined via video link with Lisa Robbins, who is Global Head of Transaction Banking at Standard Chartered. Lisa, thanks so much for joining me.
My pleasure, Joy.
So my first question is really around the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, what kind of effects it's had really on the global transaction banking industry.
Well, first of all, we have to acknowledge that COVID-19 has been a horrendous impact on humanity, and we're all adjusting to that, both in positive and negative ways. Let's talk about the positive, and I think that's what we're here at Sibos to do. The real change we've seen is a movement from basically the day-to-day transactions that you were doing in your own way, in going into a store or calling someone. They're now being done online. So we've seen it in the retail side. We're now seeing it in the B2B on the B2B side. So we're seeing a tremendous move to digital on the B2B side, born out of necessity. The old saying is, virtue has been made of a necessity. And actually we're seeing that. The Frost and Sullivan anticipate that about $1.36 trillion in value will transact in Asia Pacific alone by 2024. That's twice the amount of transactions, B2B transactions, that are currently handled over in a digital way. So quite amazing when you think about what does that mean? That spurred a whole change in the way people are thinking, the way they're addressing problems, the flexibility in adapting to digital ways of doing things. No longer are we thinking that everything has to have a paper copy. And that is a sea change. Think about it. How many checks are still written? And what do we anticipate may happen over time to the check volumes? Already a very, I would say, a very inflexible way of working becomes a very flexible way of working. So that's one thing. On the flip side, we're seeing people adjusting to new ways of working. You and I are handling this call out of our homes. And this is the first time in the history of Sibos, as you mentioned, that anything has happened online. We're continuing to transact trillions of dollars over payments every day. And yet, how are we doing it? Many people are doing it from the confines of their home. That adds additional challenges, both in terms of risk and understanding how we should put new frameworks in place to ensure the sustainability and the safety of these systems. And we're seeing a lot of people addressing that within the confines of their own companies. But collectively, as an industry, we are coming together to look at safety and soundness.
But would you say that in this new realm of digitalization, that the correspondent banking model needs to change?
That change was already underway before this COVID-19. There are efficiencies and inefficiencies in the current model. Recently, G20 and the CPMI report, perhaps you've read that, addressed some of the needs very point on around the changes that would be required. And they're making sure that we are transacting information real time, taking additional cost out of the system, having information. And we are rallied behind that to ensure that those changes do take place, because they'll make it more efficient and effective and safer for everyone. And we do believe that it's incredibly important to do this as a collective, in collaboration with public and private sectors, so that we arrive at a very functional and solutions that can be applied in a sustainable way.
So my last question is tied into that, really, which is the main theme at Sibos this year is driving the evolution of smart finance. What does that mean to you?
Smart finance means challenging conventional wisdom. We've been doing things the same way for a long period of time. And actually, smart finance means take a look at digital. What does it do for us? How fast can we get it going? What does it mean in terms of using new tools, new ways of working? What does it also mean to make our systems safe and sound, using tools that we weren't thinking were possible before? And I think the future is now. It's here. We're getting it done, and people are collaborating to do it.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. I hope you enjoy the Sibos week.
Thank you, and great to see you again.